Cool. Thanks everyone for coming. We're gonna sit tight for just a little bit, just letting want to get everyone in before we start. So that way I don't have to repeat myself too many times. But for you guys, thank you for coming in a little bit early. I really appreciate that. And should be a really fun class today. Should be pretty relaxed, and we should have a shorter end time as well. Um, I'll stick around for a little bit more than usual to answer any questions you guys might have. Uh, yeah, so Kahoot should be really fun. We have some reading tips as well. And then for Kahoot, yeah, I hope everyone saw my post and hope everyone found it helpful on Google Classroom. I'm going to see a lot of people with their own devices, and that's awesome. So yeah, cool. Sit tight for just a little bit. We're going to do some reading tips first, and then we're going to get to the Kahoot. But don't worry, no, it's not going to be a super long thing. Kahoot will be pretty much the main premise. And I'll explain how it works as well, or at least how I did mine. Cool. So we're gonna get started now. If people trickle in, that's okay. All right. So for the people that are here, I mentioned this one time. So Kahoot, we're gonna be doing that very shortly. Just hang tight. It should be really fun, but we're not gonna get started quite yet. Give about 10 minutes. There's a couple things that I want to go over first, and make sure that everyone has it down. And this is just kind of relating to the reading slash vocab slash things that we've used and how to actually apply them or really use them. When you're basic reading, school reading, whatever you're doing. So yeah, let me share my screen. Whoops. All right. Give it 1 sec. Cool. All right. Sorry. Yeah, my computer was bugging out just a tad. All right. Share screen. Bam. So as you guys may or may not know, hopefully you guys all know, today is going to be our final class, hence the Kahoot slash game slash vocab review. Also, today's going to be a shorter class. So for those, who might have something else to do, this should be a little bit and shorter. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the nature of things. But yeah, I really enjoyed you guys. It's going to be fun. Cool. So starting off, I have some just short reading tips that I'm going to go over. It shouldn't take too long. Yeah. All right. So tips for reading. Also, if you guys have chat, like for tips you like to use in reading, put them in chat and I'll try to go through them. But for me, as well as, teachers that I've been told or teachers I've had and just, from what I've learned from my experience, as well as like, some studies and research. Some really good things that you're looking for when you're reading, especially for for nonfiction, the 5 W's. And so that's who, what, when, where, why. And so these are all kind of, ways to get a context or really quick understanding, basic understanding of what's happening in a passage, right? And so, um, pull for example from the uh, Outsiders passage we read last class, right? Who? That'd be Pony Boy. What? It's probably the passage was probably around like the tension between the greasers and the socks. When? We're not totally sure when, but it seemed that it was relatively modern, maybe a little bit older, but it seemed pretty modern. The characters were talking normally, or at least Ponyboy was, and they had movies and everything, books. Um, where? So we know this was on like somewhere with the west side and east side, so we can maybe assume a town or city that's kind of maybe like separated by direction. And then finally, why? And so that's like kind of like why is there a friction? Why is there this like tension between the socks and greasers? And we got into that last class as well, right? And by going through these all five like characters and all five W's, you really get like a more stronger conclusive sense of what's actually happening in the book versus just like reading it and getting be half of all the information that you read, which isn't necessarily bad, and I'll talk about that later. So yeah, so first tips, after you read a passage, especially educational or short passage, uh, you know, keep the five W's in mind, even write them down, as well as when you're reading like something that's more, fantasy or scientific, like scientific fiction or something like that. Totally butchered that, but don't worry. Try to keep them in mind. You don't necessarily have to write them down because they can pull you away from the story. And so it's kind of personal preference, but writing down is always helpful. Second, annotate as you read. And this is something that I highly recommend. You always do. And it gets a little bit tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but it's one of the best things I've learned, and the best things I practice. So I want to pull you guys this book that I'm reading. And this is for school. I just want to show you guys like flip to this page. I have like notes everywhere on it. Like almost every page has some notes. Um, and that's so, they're not necessarily all just like, oh, this is happening, or like, oh, the author uses really interesting things here, or like, this is a especially important point. Let me disable attendee notation. So it's not just like super points, like these are things to look for as you read, or pretty much anything that stands out to you. So if you see any character development, right, where you see, you're reading the book and there's this bad guy, let's call him Ed, right? And Ed, he's out there and he's like bullying people and he's like, tossing them around and just not being a good guy. And then all of a sudden, you're reading this chapter and he has this moment where you kind of break through to him and it's like, oh, what am I doing? Or like he has kind of like a shift in his character or like a kind of realization, which can happen like an epiphany. And anytime you see any like character development or like any things that you see shifting to his character or that might change the character, that's definitely important to note. I think annotating or writing as you read, first of all, it helps you make more sense of what you're actually reading. And second of all, when you come back to the text or when you want to like look back or, let's say you didn't get this passage, it's easier for you to kind of really skim through and find out like this is exactly what I was thinking, especially there's been some time you're reading a book for a month and you go back to the first chapter, you can exactly see like what you were thinking. And I feel like that's pretty cool. So other things to do as you annotate as you read. So notes / summary of passages. So if there's a long passage or like kind of paragraphs and stuff, if there's you try to like get down the basic idea of the passage. So like let's say there's an argument happening, then you can kind of write conflict and then conflict between these two characters, or you could say like conflict due to like lollipops or something, right? Like these two characters had two lollipops and they're like, no, I want that one, you want that one, and they were just arguing over it, right? You can kind of write that down. And so we kind of did this in our class verbally, right? Summary of passages. When I asked like, what's going on here, right? What's happening in each of these passages, especially the elephant seals, I want to say. Yeah, we looked at each kind of paragraph, each paragraph of that and kind of ordered it. Why did the, author write it this way? Or if you look at, especially this became prevalent during Hope by Emily Dickinson. You guys remember that one? It was the poem. We went each stanza and we try to figure out each stanza or even line by line and the meaning of each one. And so finding the summary or finding the meaning of a passage that you read, that's a really easy way to keep track of what you're reading, make sure you're clear headed, as well as really getting the most of the passage and making sure that you're not just like, looking at words and kind of, not really absorbing anything. Because I know I'm going to tell you guys, like, there's definitely been times when I've been reading and all of a sudden I'm at the bottom of the page and I'm like, I had no idea what happened in the last 2 pages, right? You're just kind of flipping through the book and you're not really getting anything. So this really helps you make sure that you like don't get that feeling or don't get that. Also things as you read, especially this is good for school, a little like school hack for you guys. Anything that's figurative language or anything that's especially descriptive or anything. I think those are always definitely good things to highlight, especially if there's something about a character like, oh, the character is always mean, he had the worst attitude, the worst like something, and it goes into a lot of depth about that. Definitely highlight that. Any figurative language, you see some metaphors, similes, personification, alliteration, all of that good stuff. Try to underline that as well, and just write, simile or metaphor or symbolism even. And you guys might not know all these words I'm talking about. I understand that, and you're definitely going to learn them. We're not going to do it right now, but yeah, as you guys go through school, you're definitely going to get more of a handle on what these figurative languages are. And yeah, or any interesting grammar structures. And then anything that you find unusual or unique. So anything that's your initial reactions or thoughts. For me, that's maybe half of all my annotations, like, oh wow, this is shocking, or I understand what this character is going through. Anything of like those initial reactions, you can kind of write down, and that helps you kind of preserve your thoughts as you read. And so when you go back, you can kind of take a good look as well. Cool. Intro and conclusions. Oh, not yet. Intro and conclusions. So this is especially prevalent for any nonfiction pieces you're reading. So, like the Elephant Seals one we did, the Storm Extreme Weather one we did. If you remember the intro and conclusions, so we talked about this a little bit. So the way writing is organized is that you have in your first paragraph, it's an introduction, right? And that basically introduces the reader to what they're about to read, gives them that basic overall information or gives them a basic sense of what they want to read, not just popped in a dark, like, so they're not like, stranded. So like, for instance, if I were to just all of a sudden start talking to you guys about, let's say a like special kind of car, right? You guys would be like, wait a minute. You just went from grammar and like you just went from annotating or intro and conclusions to cars. Like that makes no sense. So it's a way to really ease the reader in, but also because of that, it's a way to for you when you're kind of confused, it's a way for you to go back and see, oh, this is what the passage is talking about. It's kind of a really easy way to fill in the 5 W's and give yourself context. Additionally, conclusions. So I'm sure, as you guys know, conclusions are meant to summarize what you just read for a reader, like very cleanly, very nicely. And so by reading the conclusions, you can also often get like a quick summary or a quick description of what just happened in the passage. And so this is especially helpful if you're confused or you have to go a little bit quicker and you can't really read that much. Like I definitely get that for nonfiction, but yeah. So intro conclusions. These also can apply to topic sentences as well. Pretty much, I feel like you guys get the idea, right? Yeah, so intros, anything that's introducing information, conclusions, anything that's summarizing information. Normally find them at the start and end of an essay, / long reading, as well as there's mini ones like topic sentences and a concluding sentence in paragraphs. So kind of like think of it like a sandwich. So read the top bun and the bottom bun. Cool. Know your limits and when to take a break. This is definitely more prevalent for people who really enjoy reading, as well as people who don't as well. Um, and so knowing your limits, that's really helpful. When you physically cannot read anymore, or you start like not absorbing the information and just reading text, but like in words, but the words have no meaning anymore. That's when you hit your limit, and that's when you need to know, like, oh, I need to step away from the book for a little bit. I need to, relax my eyes, go for a walk, stand up, do anything pretty much that's not reading, and that's just to give your to give your brain kind of a small time to reset, to relax a little bit, and so yeah, so definitely know when to stop. I would really want to put that into reading, especially if you're getting confused or you have no idea what's happening in a passage. Just stop, take a minute, regather yourself, and then try again. And if you're still not at that point when you can read again, then I would say just put it down and come back maybe another day, or maybe another month even. Just when you feel ready again to read it. And that's personally, I think that's a really good way just to sustain your mental health. You don't get frustrated, and it's just really good in general. You can approach this from reading, but also just like as a life lesson. All right, next. Don't want to drown on too much. So discussing with others, we kind of do this as well. But when you talk about a book with other people, you often get their insights and you get their opinions that often aren't your own, and it kind of opens up a new idea slash new door for you to explore. And it's also a really good way to comprehend the information you're reading. So that's kind of like how our class worked. And I'm sure that, listening to your peers' discussion or listening to my points as well, that definitely helped you guys understand what was happening a little bit more. And so you guys have all experienced this, and hopefully it's worked for you. So yeah. This next one, good light. Small point, just when you're reading, make sure you're not reading in the dark. Just read with good light. Uh, you're gonna ruin your eyes that way. Um, yeah. So make sure you're having enough light to read over it, maybe a desk lamp. And yeah, you don't want to be able like to barely make out the words. That's just not good for your eyes. And then finally, make sure you know what you're reading and why it's prevalent. So this is back to the 5 W's area as well as annotating. This is the general direction of all your of whenever you're reading. You want to know why you're reading this or what it's talking about. And that's as a general rule, like it might sound silly, like of course I know what I'm reading about. But sometimes like you can get dive deeper and there's different layers to go back. So you might think you're reading about one thing, but you get to another paragraph and it gets like it dives really deep or in depth into one part of that main topic. And so that's another part to look like, why is this one paragraph relevant to its entire story? Or why would the author take the time to put this specific like character or character description in the entire story? Because we already know who this character is. And that's why you might put like, maybe character development. This is unique or special in your book. And so with that being said, if you guys have any questions, put them in chat. But these are really the tips I have for you guys to keep on reading. And it might be for pretty much all types of reading. You do reading for science, you do reading for math, even textbooks, you do reading for English, as well as pretty much all your subjects that you might take, as well as for leisure, and like because you enjoy reading. So yeah, listen to all this, and finally, just keep on reading. You might want to watch Netflix or something. Highly encourage you guys not to, sit back on the couch and watch Netflix or watch TV and try to read something instead. You kind of get the same feeling as long as you don't have any distractions near you. And it works really well. It kills a lot of time, and it's really enjoyable, and you feel a lot better than just watching Netflix. So yeah. All right, we're gonna go to the Kahoot. So I'm gonna stop my share really quickly. I'm gonna pull it over to the Kahoot area. I assume that everyone here has been able to read the Google Classroom of how to get to Kahoot. And so that should be good. If not, go to kahoot.it, Kahoot it would be kahoot.it. Hit the enter button. That should take you to the page. And I'll put up the game pin as soon as I start the Kahoot. So give me a sec. And then, cool. Thank you for being patient. Pulling it up right now. All right, let's do this. Let's do that. Your computer sound. If you guys can get the Kahoot sound, let's share. All right, you should be able to see it. Questions about chat, I'll try to. Oh, you guys cannot hear me? How about now? Okay, cool. Sorry about that. All right, and we're gonna have 30 seconds to let everyone in. For those who aren't in, I'm assuming you guys can't play, but I'm assuming that you guys can get on. And you guys just can watch on my screen, and that's okay. It should be just as good. I'll be reading the questions and answers out as we go. And I'm relatively sure that you can join a Kahoot after it starts, but not totally sure. Put the chat into, and if someone wants to start early. All right, let's start. So these first 20 questions are all just going to be find the definition. So Perry, find the definition of Perry on your screen. Red, around. Blue, not. Orange, or yellow, bad. Green, quit. So one more time. Red is around. Blue is not. Yellow is bad. Green is quick. And this is for Perry. Nice. All right. Lightning. Vit. So red is language, blue is life, yellow is death, and green is anger. Vit. Red is language, blue is life, yellow is death, and green is anger. Nice. Lightning again. Damn. All right, capped. C-A-P-T. Capped. Red is wrong, blue is back, yellow is year, and green is hold. One more time. Red is wrong, blue is back, yellow is year, and green is hold. Also, I just want to say really quickly, if you guys are, having trouble or you guys are not getting the answers right, don't sweat it too much. This is just for fun in a game. Yeah. Co. So co, CO, red is lead, blue is give, yellow is with, and green is again. Red is lead, blue is give, yellow is with, and green is again. I see a lot of people got this one. 11 people got it wrong. Where I remember is co-op, or like if you play any games or something, like a co-op game would be with multiple people. So with multiple people. Cool. Next. FID. FID. All right. Red is lie, blue is believe, yellow is around, and green is state. Red is lie, blue is believe, yellow is around, and green is state. Oh, I see where you guys would get lie, like fib or something like that, where you would lie. Yeah, so I remember this was one that I used, that I told would like be a little bit hard. But the way I remember this is confident. So like believing in yourself. And for those who get things wrong, maybe take the time to mark it down or just write like, oh, I got fit wrong, and then go back to study it. Next. Cron, red is give, green is near, or blue is near, sorry. Yellow is play, and green is time. Red is give, blue is near, yellow is play, and green is time. Aqua, red is water, green is leader, blue is great, and yellow is stay. Red is water, blue is great, yellow is stay, and green is leader. Nice, everyone got it. It's what we like to see. All right. Pre, red is after, blue is during, yellow is old, and green is before. Nice. Am, Red is good, blue is both, yellow is love, and green is soft. Nice. Yeah, that was a tough one. I can see where you get both, and I can also see where you would get good. The way I remember it is amicable, which also means friendly. But yeah, that was a tough one. Maybe write it down. 10. TEN. Red is gentle, blue is shape, yellow is numbers, and green is hold. Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of holds. I'm going to tell you guys that because there were a lot of reads that meant hold. The way I remember this, if any of you speak Spanish or learn Spanish a little bit, tener, that's to have. So to have and hold, there's a kind of relationship there. But yeah. Lex. Red is language, blue is send, yellow is wrong, and green is top. Nice. Those are both right answers because I can see you making an argument for both. So. Ant. Red is small, blue is subtle. Sorry, colors are weird. Yellow is before, and green is decay. Ooh, ant as in like small, as in like an insect, or like the thing. Okay, you guys got to study that one. Where I remember this is antes, or antes in Spanish. Spanish and English are kind of actually very closely related. So that's the way I kind of remember it. But yeah, me like pickles. Viv. Red is towards, blue is life, yellow is eat, and green is all. Oh, Helena says, I thought of anticipate. Yeah, that's a good one as well. I think some of you have figured out a strategy where you try to find a word that uses the verb, or that uses the word, much like we do normally. And so from the meaning of that, you would take it. Right? Sub. Red is all, blue is under, yellow is water, green is push. We had this word last week, so it should be the one that everyone gets. Nice. All right. Equi. Red is equal, blue is child, yellow is rise, and green is food. Nice. Diff. Diff. So red is away, blue is against, yellow is fight, and green is without. So if any of you guys are wondering why I'm reading them out, it's just for people who are playing on one device. That way they can actually hear as well. Ooh, okay. I can see why you would put diff or against. Right. Bio. Red is study, blue is right, yellow is polite, green is over. Nice. Amy. Red is no, blue is body, yellow is loose, and green is love. Nice. We also had am as well before earlier, so I just said 4 words all at once. Annie with the lead, okay. Temp. Red is time, blue is heat, yellow is weather, green is change. Temp. Heat. Yeah, temperature. I put that one in to throw you because like you could think of temperature as temp and then heat. Yeah. Anti. Red is against, blue is eager, yellow is before, and green is huge. All right. Julia, oh, with that answer streak of 4. Okay. So these next questions are going to have a twist. Try to figure out what the special thing is, and then I'll tell you on the second question. M. Ooh, go back. Or actually, not this one, yes. M, red is full, blue is sound, yellow is not, and green is cut. To be honest, that one kind of took me by surprise. I forgot that I put that question in there, and I forgot what M is. But yeah, so don't feel bad at all. Annie with 5 incorrect. Okay. Next. Ob. OB. So these are the twists. So there are other roots, and you have to find the root with the same meaning. So ob, red is pan, blue is contra, yellow is ten, and green is con. Set. Red is die, blue is temp, yellow is vibe, and green is parry. If you guys get these ones wrong, don't worry. Yeah, these are totally acceptable to get wrong, especially because there's a time limit on this, so you have to go a lot quicker. Yeah, probably should have raised the time limit a little bit, but you guys are doing pretty well. You can also, I think a strategy for this one, you can also look at the roots. So temp that means time, right? Instead, that one probably doesn't mean time. And so if this definition doesn't really match up to that one, then you can kind of go from there. Leg, L-E-G. Ego with 2 O's, so that's blue, bio, yellow, cane, and green, leg, or legs. Red, ego, blue, bio, yellow, cane, and green, legs. Viv. Red, give, blue, more, yellow, light, green, not. These are all kind of mixed. So this one back to the definition. I might have messed up the order a little bit. Sorry about that. Just keep you on your toes. Just say that. Par. P-A-R. So red is fid, blue is non, yellow is equi, and green is ami. I would have gotten that one wrong. I'm not gonna be, yeah. Well, look at that, 8888. It's pretty cool. Cred. Red is temp, blue is fid, yellow is circum, and green is auto. Nice. Circum. Red is peri, blue is bio, yellow is viv, and green is omni. Nice. It's a majority. Ear. IR. Red is co, blue is ibid, green is mal, yellow is ig. EU. A is red is A, blue is bene, yellow is sep, and green is philo. We have 9 more of these questions. Sept. Red is pan, blue is 10, yellow is vid, and green is odd. Or O, yes, A-U-D. Auto. Red is philo, blue is D, yellow is ego, and green is miss. dick. Red is contra, blue is aqua, EU is yellow, and black is green. Ego. We just had the opposite of this one. That's a hint. Red is die, blue is red, yellow is auto, and green is temp. Not the opposite, but like the other way, reverse. Also, I think people aren't answering. I just want to say, if you get it, just answer, I think, and even guess if you can, if you don't know the answer. And that just to help you actually like interact with it, so you're not just watching it as you're talking. Red is aqua, blue is calm, yellow is non, and green is thin. Again, I want to like say, getting things wrong, especially in Kahoot, not a big deal, not a big deal at all. So. Tin. You guys are good at water. You got all right on aqua and hydro. Pretty much all right. Tin. Red is cap, blue is sub, yellow is bi, and green is off. Nice. Also, answer streaks, if you're getting answer streak, it's a lot easier to get points. So slow and steady does really win. It's a slow and medium fast. De. Red is ab, blue is non, yellow is sir, and cron is green. Two more questions of these. Con. Red is ego, blue is co, yellow is odd, and port is green. Habit. Red is odd, L is lat, or blue is lat, yellow is cane, and P is pan, or P is pan. Green is pan. Red is odd, blue is lat, yellow is cane, and green is pan. Ab. So this should be the last question along these types. Ab, red is hydra, yellow is A, blue is A, yellow is anti, and green is dis. A actually might be the right answer. Not totally sure, but I think that might be. I have to check. Equi. Oh, this is another one. Okay. Equi. Red is equi. Or equi. I can't pronounce that. Blue is sep. Yellow is pan. And green is free. Nice. All right. So these. Try to find the root in this. So identify the root in this. So red is calm, blue is bind, yellow is bi, and green is cone. So you're trying to identify the actual right root of this. Yeah, so these are both right. So com is together, b is 2. Succumb. Red is come, blue is suck, U is and green is soup. Apathy. Red is ap, blue is P, yellow is A, and green is pat. How are we doing on time? All right, we're gonna go for a little bit. I'm gonna have to skip questions. Philosopher. Red is blue is philo, yellow is soft, and green is philosoph. Disinterested. Red is inter, blue is head, yellow is dis, and green is red. Oh, got some lag. All right, dictation. Red is tat, blue is shin, yellow is ion, and green is dick. Nice. Maintain. Red is in, blue is tame, yellow is main, and green is ma. Also, I might butcher some of the pronunciations because these aren't actually words; they're just like syllables put together. So if I mess them up, sorry. Yeah. So the one here, maintain. Tain would mean hold. I don't think main is a root. So in here, tain is the root of maintain. And so because maintain is like to hold one position or to hold like at one spot, that's a connection. 5 players just dropped the answer streak of 3. Nice, guys. Immutable. Got also some lag. Sorry about that. My computer's not on this. Alright, immutable. Just gonna make a quick one. Red is in, blue is mute, yellow is muta, and green is tab. Alright, that was a lot of lag on that one. Alright. We're gonna do 3 more questions, and then I'm gonna skip the rest of them because we're out of time. So contraband, maybe these ones count. 3 more questions. Contraband. Red is tra, blue is contra, yellow is band, and green is con. Nice. 2 more. Hyperventilate. Red is ventil. Blue is tilate. Yellow is hyper. And green is high. Nice. All right, this is the last question. Make it count. Make it count, guys. If you're close to the leaderboard, get on the leaderboard. Just get as many points as you can on this last one. Nonchalant. So, red is cha, blue is chal, yellow is non, and the last one, green is lant. Nice. Made that one count. All right. We're going to skip this one. We're going to skip all the last ones. Omnipotent is the omni. Reject, that'd be ject. Audible would be odd. Oh. Maleficent would be mal. Indiscreet would be in, as well as dis, I think. Captivate would be capped or cap. Benevolent would be Benny. All right, podium. Enter name year. Nice. 40 out of 60, that's good. Jonathan, 38 out of 60. Number 1, Annie. Nice. All right, there you go. Top 5. Sean was number 4, and I missed number 5. Sorry, I couldn't use that. All right. So with that, that's the end of class. I'll see you guys. This was really fun. Yeah, so this is going to be the end of a glance behind the reading. Thank you guys so much. Bye. Any questions, put them in chat. Of course, it was fun to teach. And I'll stay out here just maybe a couple minutes. What book do I read? I recommend any book that we've done on here. I think looking online could be a good source. Tom Sawyer was a good book I like to read. I'm Number 4. That was a good one by Pittacus Lore, as well as try to read some nonfiction books, I think, as well. Yeah, I learned Spanish. Yes, I did. I had to do it for school. Or diction, fiction. How many nonfictions for how many fiction? I would say, for me, I like to read maybe 75-25. I read nonfiction a lot because it's exciting or like it's something that really interests me. So find something that really, speaks to you or like a topic that's pretty interesting to you and read the nonfiction of that. Yeah, that's the easiest way, and that's also the best way to get hooked to it. Membean really helped. Yeah, I'm sure it would. I pulled actually some of the reads from the Membean root list, so. Have you been to university? No, I'm a high school student. I'm going to be a rising sophomore. 10th grade. Do you teach tutors? No, I do not. I am a tutor though in this class. Do you have any hobbies? Right now I like working out, playing piano, drawing. That's pretty awesome. Those are my good, pretty strong hobbies like that I like to do, and I'm learning some other stuff online as well. Can you tutor me? Maybe. Shoot me an email. I can give you. I'll send you my personal email. Shoot me an email there. Do you know any knock knock jokes? Just the interrupting cow one. Yeah. All right. Knock knock. Who's there? I'll say Europe, India. All right. So with this, I'm gonna head out, guys. Thank you so much. Any questions? You can put them on Google Classroom, or you can go to that Alphademic, my email there. All right, see you guys. Thank you. It's been great.